Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. This is Angela Blaha, and this is your Ascension How-Tos. So today we want to talk about what are the differences between Ascension and Dimensions. Do you know the difference between your Ascension and the dimensions that you may wander through? So here's how it works. Dimensions. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Dimensions are upgrades in belief systems. So we're here in this third dimensional physical reality, but we have belief systems. Everything is consisted of and made of a belief system. Your ego, the way you think, your emotions, what you do are all based in belief systems. So no matter what dimension you are in, whether it's fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th, 11th, 33rd, there's infinite number of dimensions. No matter what dimension you are in, you still do not have any free will because the belief systems limit your freedom. So even if you're in 33rd dimension, you are still governed by a belief system. Are they upgrades in belief systems? Yeah, they are. But you're still governed. You don't really have free will because the belief systems govern your free will. Do you have freedom to choose? Of course you do within these dimensions. But you're still under a belief system. So your freedom really isn't freedom. It's pretty much just an illusion that you have freedom. So that's what dimensions are. Do you have questions about dimensions? If you do, please ask them in the thread so I can answer them. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. I just love it when people pop in. Okay, so dimensions are just upgrades in belief systems. You do not have free will. If you choose to go the dimension route, because they just have belief systems and you are governed by those belief systems. Now, there are two ways to look at your future. Dimensionally, because of this shift in consciousness that we're currently in, right? You have two choices. Dimensions, which are upgraded belief systems. Every time you upgrade your belief systems, you're moving through a dimension. Every time you release from a belief system, or you have awareness of a belief that you're currently working through, you're upgrading dimensionally. The other route is just pure ascension, your essence, where your wisdom resides, where your truth resides, where your internal knowing lives, your infiniteness, your pure love, your soul self. Go direct and stop playing around in the belief systems. Honestly, that's the second route, and it's super simple. But because we have belief systems that we can't do that, or we shouldn't do that, or it's really not available, then that's what's holds us back. That's what stops you from, that's what creates your internal struggle. All beliefs contain some kind of lack. Now let's think about this for a moment. All belief systems contain lack. Ascension is knowing your worth. Because if you know your worth, you know that you're worthy of God, you know that you're worthy of being all that is, you know that you're worthy of being all that is nothing, you know that you are worthy of transcending this galaxy, you know that you are worthy of money, wealth, happiness, joy, bliss, you know that you are worthy of the most amazing relationships that you could ever create in your entire existence. You know that you are worthy of the best possible path. Thank you for all those hearts. You know your worth. Like you have zero doubt about it. That's really what ascension is. You're so aligned with who you really are that there's nothing that stands in your way. You can manifest, you can create, you know the power of your soul self. You have zero belief systems because you're worth. Yes, Evelyn, all worthy. But if you're working the dimensional track, you have lack because belief systems can contain lack. Every single belief system out there, even if you believe that you are worthy, you still contain a bit of lack because you have to believe it. Maybe you don't necessarily act it. You see how belief systems, we don't necessarily live a belief system, we just believe that we have that. If you believe that you are worthy, do you act as if you are God? Because God is pure essence, right? Or whatever word you want to use, source, creator. That's just pure essence. Do you show up every single moment of every day as essence? And essence doesn't have a positive or negative. Essence is just the purity of who you are. Is that possible in this reality? Absolutely, because that is what ascension is. It's not upgrading anything. It's you knowing who you are. Now, I've expressed this for eons, right? Like we've talked about this before. So what are you choosing? Like, are you choosing ascension or are you choosing dimensional travel? You're the one that ultimately gets to decide which path you're taking. Are you going direct and aligning with your truth, your knowledge, your wisdom, your purity, your eternalness? Or are you choosing the belief systems, the ego, the emotions, the thoughts? You see, there's nothing to do here except to make a decision about which path you want to create. So those are the differences, the essential differences, the simplicity of the differences between ascension and dimensions. Dimensions are upgraded beliefs. Ascension is you going direct, knowing your worth. So what is it that you're choosing? What will you decide today about your path? Because here's what I know, without a doubt, is that 2020, the energy of 2020 is already here. There is no more fence sitting because 2020 literally marks the end day of the shift in consciousness. I'm not talking about an end day in concreteness, but those lack paradigms, the lack matrix, the egoic kind of energies that create lack and unworthiness and doubt, those don't no longer exist. What that means is if you're still creating that in your lifetime through the belief systems, then life gets even more frustrating, more hard, more painful. There's more suffering because there's no energy to support lack mentalities, lack belief systems, lack emotions. I mean, that has all been uncreated in 2010 through 2012. That was the pivot point for humanity. And literally, what happened was it gave us 10 years, 10 to 12 years to sort of make the adjustment. Now, we're at the end gate of the adjustment period. So between 2020 and 2027, Ascension or dimensional traveling literally takes control. So you either upgrade your belief systems, which is considered to be the awakening, and you can move dimensionally. Sorry. You can move dimensionally, or you can just say, okay, I'm done. I'm done playing around with those belief systems. I'm done playing around with my unworthiness. I'm done playing around with not knowing who I am. Those are all choices, decisions that you make, no one else. There's no leader out there who can help you make that choice, that decision. You're the only one. It's just you. Oh, isn't it fun? Like, honestly, you're the one that has all the power. You're the only one that's in control. You're the only one that's responsible. So get serious about your responsibility. We aren't kids anymore. We aren't spiritually children anymore. Humanity as a consciousness decided that in 2012, that we are no longer children in our own knowing. So whether or not you're having these weird beliefs, these weird awakening things happening, these weird truths coming in that like totally want to destroy what you have believed in the past, surrender to those truths. Because honestly, that is your ascension. That is your alignment to who you really are. That is you, the real you. So surrender into what you know. What you know is your own truth. What you know is your own wisdom. What you know is internal peace. Those are the signs. Those are the symbols that you're looking for, that you've been requesting for eons. Follow those, and the internal battle stops existing. You don't have to upgrade those belief systems anymore. You just jump off of the fence and into your own wisdom. All right, what questions do you have? Please ask questions if you're unsure about anything. Yes, it's time to get off the fence. Oh, surrendering you. That's cool, Sandy. Yay, congratulations. Surrendering you. So true. Surrender into your own ascension, right? Stop the internal battle, because it's if you're like me, it's exhausting. Like that internal battle, ugh, it's just purely exhausting. So I decided to know my worth. I've decided to know my wisdom. I've decided to know my truths. And you know what? My truth probably isn't your truth. And that's okay, because we're all individuals in the big picture of things. I'm finally hearing you. Can't wait. Yeah, right? Like that's what happens. We have to work through so many belief systems in order to hear the reality of who we really are. And so, for some of us, it takes a little bit of time, but we all get there. We will all get there one way or another, whether you choose dimensions or you choose direct ascension, doesn't really matter. If you like the long route, if you like taking the scenic route and you love being in some sort of duality, then I say, hey, go for it. If you are exhausted, you're tired of feeling the loneliness, if you're If you're just ready for direct ascension, then go for it. Right? Like there's no right or wrong. There never has been a right or wrong. That's a belief system. There's just you and what you're choosing. I will be watching this daily because it's time for ascension. Yeah, it's time. It literally is like no more time. It is. It's upon us. Let's put it that way. Because there are so many stargates opening, there are so many truths that are being brought to the earth about humanity, about all the atrocities to humanity that have been done over time. We're not children. We are not children. We are not children in our knowing. We are not children in our ascension. We are not children in our responsibility. The adulting factor is real. And it's adulting in your own knowing. It's adulting in your own wisdom, in your own truth about who you really are, your worthiness. Debbie, I never understood dimensions, and now I don't even have to understand it now. That's probably a good sign. If you don't really understand dimensions, then your soul's really wanting you to go direct, right? Direct ascension. Like that feels like it's a very much a symbol and a sign. So follow your signs. Follow those things that don't really make sense. Follow those things that are like, yeah, that's not really for me. Don't judge yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging the world. If you love the scenic route, do the scenic route. If you love going direct, do direct. Yay, Debbie. Sandy, I think I posted my questions in the wrong spot. How do I encourage people involved in my mentorship? So what if you didn't encourage anyone, Sandy, and you empowered them? See the difference? There's a direct difference between encouragement, which is kind of that saving paradigm, versus empowering them to know who they are, empowering them to understand who they are, empowering them to like see their worthiness. Gosh, everything has such worth, such worth. Yet we've kind of ignored that through the belief systems. We don't really understand our worth. And that's probably the biggest atrocity that's ever happened to humanity, is the limitingness of our own worth. So empower them, Sandy. Empower them. Okay. Any other questions? If you have questions, please ask them in this thread and I will get to them. Otherwise, be conscious about what you're deciding. Be conscious and aware about what you're choosing, and then show up. Show up for your own decision. Show up for your own worth. Until next week, we love you dearly.